if you are in a foreign land, be you in Europe or in the US or in any of these Western world, and you're earning in hard currencies, if you don't have in Nigeria naira, if you don't have up to 100 million saved in Nigerian naira somewhere, then you are poor.
Are they robbing in the?
No. So let's
Open Table TV, come and sit with me, where the truth is spoken freely.
Hello, Open Table family. We are here again with another scintillating and interesting topic. This has to do with our finances. How did you manage your finances as a newcomer in the world into the foreign land? You might be living in the UK to Canada and in the US, or even in Australia, whatever part of the Western world you are. When you moved from your home country, how did you navigate financial matters? How did you settle down, whether you were single or married, and how was it like? This is the topic for today. Welcome to Open Table. With me today, I have my colleagues and sisters, and this is
Okiki. Izo.
So we're going to have a robust conversation this afternoon. So, Izo Okiki, the issue of finances has been a major concern to many people in the Western world, because sometimes people move around and travel to a new country and they realize that the largesse they were expecting, that maybe they pick money from the floor or they get dollars and see pounds and foreign currency. Sometimes there's a bit of disappointment, I would say. So what's your perspective about moving to a new country and financial expectations?
Well, the thing is, moving to a Western country, because again, with immigration, it can go either ways. But moving from a not so civilized country in terms of financial landscape to a more financially more vast country, you have to realize that their money doesn't work the way it used to work in your home country. So you gave the example of the UK, Canada, the US. If you're coming from parts of Africa or even some parts of the Middle East, they don't have a credit system like they have in this westernized country. So you have to have that knowledge that, okay, if I come this way, everything is not by cash, first of all. And then money runs differently. So if I use the example of coming from Nigeria to Canada, the very first thing that I came here and realized that the perception we have back home is so wrong. Because you just have this feeling that once I touch my feet on that soil, money falls from heaven. Now, that's not how it works. These countries, they have such wonderful safety net where you would not, it's not like there's no poverty, but there's safety net to help. You know, so it now gives off that impression that, oh, there's money everywhere. And then because our currency is not so strong, that's another thing.
Yeah.
When you are comparing the dollar to the naira, people get that sense that, oh, if I just come, I'll just start making dollar. They forget that it only makes sense when you are changing that dollar to the naira.
To the naira.
If you are
And
using that
spending
and
it
spending it
in
in
naira,
naira,
yes.
In this place, it's just the same. So that would be the very first thing I would say as regards to that.
Okay, like Isa said, part of the things I would also want to talk about, like for me, should I say it wasn't really an expectation, but you know, I never had that thought, or let me say opinion, of how easy it will be to make money abroad. Like, okay, getting jobs and making money. Fine, I wasn't expecting to come here and pluck money from the tree, or maybe pick on the ground, right? But you know, yeah, working for money is, should I say, a bit stressful. For every dollar you make, like, just know that person had actually worked for that dollar. Back home, maybe the kind of job I was doing, fine, you work for your money, but it wasn't something, how would I put it? It wasn't something that was so time consuming to make my salary. It wasn't really time consuming. I had time to do other things, navigate life, and I wasn't feeling stressed making what I was making back home. But here, like, it's a bit more, should I say, stressful, more demanding, physically demanding, mentally demanding, and to make whatever I make. So I would say that's one culture thing for me.
So from what Okiki is saying, I'll deduce that when people you are moving from maybe like you are an aristocrat or you are a corporate person, already a working class level, average working class person, you move from that same work position to another work position is also in the new country. The work-life balance is different.
Yeah.
Because when you back home on the same work level, on the same position, kind of, and you are still like comfortable, you are like more settled, your work-life balance is okay. You don't have to put in so much effort or energy and get the same financial benefit reward compared to when you are in the foreign country. Like you have to work double to get that same financial reward. So what is the rave about moving abroad?
So the rave about moving abroad for most people is the quest for a better life. And not just for them, but for their children. Because, like I said earlier, this place has a lot of things that, unfortunately, we don't have back home. There's security here. Now,
Presumed security?
Better security. And then there are little safety nets. I'll give an example. Like in Canada, where we are, as long as you have children, the government gives you a certain amount every month. Now, let's say, God forbid, that family or that parent, somebody loses a job. In between jobs, you are still getting some kind of money, some kind of funding from the government. Now, back home, things are like that, and it's not there. Another safety net that we have here, utilities are stable. As long as you can pay your bills, it's stable. Back home, those things are not there. You are your electricity. There's so many things that you have to do for yourself. So people move to this place because of this infrastructure that is stable, the possibility of their kids having a better life. So it's not, I know that we all sum it up to say we are coming to pick money. That's just a slang people use, but people generally move this way for a better life for all those reasons.
Yeah, I agree with you on some point. I'm not totally agreeing with you. When you talk about security, absolutely correct. Like driving at should I say my first job here was a night job. I wasn't so scared. Like I can pick my car key and go to work 1 a.m., 2 a.m., right? But back home, it would have been a kind, people do it, but it would be risky and the kind of fear you have in your mind. But when we talk about life balance, like I tell people in Nigeria have money. Okay, I'm a Nigerian. I was based in Nigeria before moving to Canada, so I'll use Nigeria. That's where I can compare. Like some people cannot, even when they have that opportunity of moving, relocating abroad, they can, because what they earn back home, like clean money, what they earn back, maybe they have stable income, stable businesses or whatever that they do. They don't, coming abroad would even be like a form of setback. When we remove the future opportunity of maybe your kids having that passport, like which is a future thing, like you don't have to apply for visa, that's a plus anyway. But compared to lifestyle living, I won't say we are better or they are, people in Canada are better or people in Nigeria are better. Like we have people doing extremely beautifully well. Like the kind of houses they even live in, people abroad will not be able to, like we might not be able to live to that kind of standard. The kind of lifestyle they like, maybe partying, not even partying, like the kind of cars they use, they paid like standard of living. They pay for these cars outrightly. Here, most of we have, like you said, we have the credit facility. Buying cars, even your phone, you have to pay instrumentally. People back home would pay, like they will pay cash down for, outrightly for this kind of lifestyle. And yet, so I won't say like in terms of lifestyle, but security, like we said, the passport is a plus. That's one good thing. But I wouldn't want to entirely agree that relocating abroad gives you a better lifestyle than people back home.
I will actually, my perspective about that is this: I weigh on both sides that yes, for some people, because it depends on your life, how you were before you moved. So for some, there are two different sets of people. Some were really doing badly. I mean, there's poverty all over the world, right? So some people were going through so much hardship. They were not able to break even. They were not able to succeed in life. They were struggling, really. They were not having, luck was not on their side. I'll use that word. So even though they had maybe the right qualifications and everything, probably because of some effects, bad government policies, bad government corrupt leadership and poor infrastructures, they were not even able to live up to standard. They were not able to breathe. Let me use that word. And then they decided, like, if I move to the Western world, I might have an opportunity. Just like for the artisans or people that are blue collar jobs,
Right.
they find out that they are not well remunerated or valued, even in like in Africa or in some other world. But when they move and that same skill they carry it out in the Western world. Like, how much do you pay like a carpenter, a furniture maker over here? It's way better than some furniture or majority. So that might be another a reason why some people now feel they move to the Western world where they have stronger currency, stronger government, stronger, better what they would look like a better world environment, and they do better. Well, like Okiki is also stating that there are some people that were multimillionaires back in their home country. They had a different reason for moving to a foreign land. So it might not be because of the money. It's not even because of the comfort. Sometimes it's even like you are downgrading. It's a step. You are turning down a little bit because some lifestyles you could afford at home, you can't afford home domestic help, for example. You can't afford own a driver because the wages are too high, ridiculous. Well, not, I won't call it ridiculous. The wages might be higher than you could easily. And then maybe what you're paying for home rent and everything is going to be like times 3, times 4 what you would have paid for at home.
Or maybe own your own house. By the time what you pay here for a long period of time, if you put it together, you would have built.
But you see, one thing that third world countries have is the social class is so distinct. Like, you have the very rich and the very poor. But here, it's almost like it's not a steep graph. You have those that are rich, you have middle class. So because of the way they pay their workers, you just made the reference with blue collar jobs. Now, a plumber in Nigeria is seen as a low life job. But a plumber here will be living next to the person that is the CEO of a company.
Because here they pay them per hour. Like
so there is this thing about the way they place the job market, that there is the upper class, there's the robust middle class, and then those that don't really have. But ours is, you have the ultra rich, and then there's this yawning gap of people and then you have the very poor.
Okay, so I would steer the conversation in this direction. Let's talk about when people that now move, how do they now manage their finances? Because we've talked about sometimes it's like a little bit of a step down for some people, maybe majority, and then for some other people, it's an improvement in their lifestyle because some feel like I've made it and they're able to do so many things that they couldn't have done back home, right? So how do people now, because there are some that come in, they were not doing well at home and they come here and the job market is not smiling, things are really bad, because we know even in the third world, or no, not in the third world, because we know even in this current Western world, that's what I want to say, Western world, people are suffering too. Like I a little bit, that analogy of the very high, rich, middle class. Right now with the economy, middle class is almost eroded, and I don't know. I call myself a middle class. I don't even know anymore.
You don't know what class you belong
Things
to.
are so you are almost living from paycheck to paycheck. Is that middle class anymore? You're not able to say because of taxing, because of expenses, groceries skyrocketing. So how can people manage? That's my question. How do people now move when they now move? What's your advice about?
Okay, for that, there's no manual. My advice, I would give my advice, but it might not, like, my situation might be different, would definitely be different from every other person's situation. There's no manual, like I said earlier. But I think one of the things that affects is your income. Like, we all have different income and different brackets of what you earn and the kind of lifestyle you want to live. You might even be earning same income with someone, but your lifestyle is expensive. Like, you want the kind of area you live, the kind of house you live in, or maybe what mortgage you pay, your monthly expenses, like maybe your grocery, your clothing. We all buy clothes in different stores. Some do thrift, some do high class name tags, while some will just do irregular fitting clothes. So it depends. So I won't say, so in that kind of situation, you know what you are earning. Everybody would work within their budget. So we might earn same thing, but whatever I spend my money on would definitely be different from what my friend or what my friend spends money on. So that would impact what what I save and what my friend saves. Another thing I would see is we all priority. Like we all, some people see saving as priority. Like I save for when I have my paycheck, I save whatever I'm saving first, then the remaining goes into lifestyle. Some go like spends into lifestyle first, then whatever is left will go into save. So that means that situation, some months you won't even save, especially when there are some months that you have a lot of expenses on kids or your personal self, and so in that situation they won't save. So it's not a one shoe fit all.
What can you say about budgeting then? When you, no,
Okay. So before I come to budgeting, I would say I'll add this to what you've said. If you're just coming in from your country or your home country into any of these Western countries, the very first thing I'll tell you is debunk all the myth that you have about how money runs here. All that, oh, there's so much money in Canada or there's so much money in the US. Debunk all that myth. And then when you come here, give yourself time. Remember that you're coming to meet people here that have been in this country 2, 5, 10 years, 15
20.
years. So if you see the level at which they are living, give yourself time. Be nice to yourself, to be kind to yourself. Don't now overstretch yourself because you want to measure up with the person that has been here for 5 years, that has been here for 10 years. So give yourself time. Like Okiki said, people do according to their level. Now, normally, people that are coming from their home country to this country, they're supposed to come with some proof of funds. At least that's what the process says. But oftentimes, people don't have all that means. So just come, settle down. Wherever your hand can reach to purchase the items you need to purchase it there. There's still time for you to become a big boy or big girl, as we call it. So coming to your question about budgeting. Now, if you are coming as a student, obviously you know that your school fees is there and the money or the stipends that you're going to be getting is for a specific need. So you have to really sit down and calculate, how much am I spending for feeding? If you're going to be renting, how much am I spending? So you have to be deliberate to know your numbers and try and keep to it. Now, one good thing with Canada and the banks we have here, some of them have all these apps that help you monitor how you spend money.
Yeah, income and
Exactly. So that would over time give you like a benchmark to know that, okay, this is the money I spend for food. This is the money I spend for rent. This is the money. And then you can now make a sense to say, okay, compared to the income that I receive, is this an achievable budget? Now, if you're also a family, that also works. So I usually tell people budgeting is not a set amount. It's not a specific amount. It's a range. So you have the lower range and the higher range. And then as time goes on, you can tweak it. But if your goal is to save, you have to budget. If your goal is to save, as a family or as a student or as a single person.
So there's also this trend that people tend to like try to show off on social media, and it gives a like there's a competitiveness, because when you have some newcomers coming in, they want to, because this is a little bit advice to more of newcomers, and some of them they've not gotten jobs yet. There's a strain on their finances, but they want to live up with the Joneses or meet up with the standard they were living back in their home country. So what is that hype? How do they manage that?
So one of the things I would say, I'm not 100% sure, affects people's mentality is, what do I post on social media? What do I put out? Like people back home, I want them to know I have arrived. Our pictures look so beautiful. I tell people like, the sky is so clear and bright. But that clear sky, don't let it deceive you. Yeah, like Jesus said earlier, like people have been here, people have been struggling, putting savings together. You see people drive brand new cars, things like what we call, is it tear rubber, like brand new cars. So you will still get to that stage. Don't put yourself under pressure. So the fact that your friend got to Canada, posted I have a friend that got to Canada, next maybe 2 weeks I started posting picture in a car, maybe it's one of the neighbor's car or maybe the friend's car. Don't put yourself under pressure. And for me, the way I work is it's always good to be motivated by what others do. but I don't put myself under pressure. What I can afford is what I can afford. If everybody around me is buying brand new car, when I'm not ready to buy brand new car, nobody can put me under pressure. Whatever, as long as I can move from point A to point B, is whatever I would use as a family. So it's like putting someone under pressure would be a lot, especially for a newcomer. Not even, should I say newcomer alone? This advice or this talk is not even about newcomer, because we all know the economy is not smiling presently. Like, you work, you earn money, but what you spend is looking like it's overshadowing what you make. Like, because gas expenses, feeding, accommodation is really going high. So now this should be a drawing board for everyone, like a time, so that you won't put yourself under pressure and start affecting the health or whatever you can afford. Even if others are doing it, let it stay. A time will come that you'll be able to afford that, if that is part of your priority. Let's just focus more on things that are more important, like, so that we won't at the end of the day put ourselves under pressure or get ourselves into a mess. You see people buy houses they can't eventually sustain
the payment.
or manage. But the fact that, I bought this large house or something like that, at the end of the day, people that we are trying to impress would not be there to rescue. Nobody gives anybody money in this Canada. It is somebody that even have extra that will see you and say, I'm tipping you or dashing you money. Like, so that's my own.
Isa, do you have any?
So the thing is, earlier on I mentioned that these economies in the Western world, they run on credit. Now, whereas that is a good thing, it can also be a bad thing to those that do not have self-control. So I paint a scenario here. You come into Canada, the moment you get a bank account, they give you a $2,000 credit card.
Remember our video about a credit card?
They give you a $2,000 credit card. And some of these auto shops, they tell you that you can come and pick a brand new car for the first 3 months, you're not paying, and then afterwards you start to pay. So there are a lot of flashy things that can draw in those people, right? And those that are seeking that, I want to show that I've arrived. I want to be kind. I want to be kind, and I don't want to say something harsh.
No.
But you see, one thing I've realized is people that want to show off all the time, there's a shallowness that it speaks to. One comedian said, if you find somebody that starts saying, I'll say it in pidgin and I'll translate. I get money. That person really doesn't have
money.
Those that are ultra rich, they don't need, because they are so self-assured in themselves that they don't need to show off, right? Now, I'm saying this not because I'll give you a funny example. Sorry, I'm laughing. When we were back, and I don't know if this happened to you girls, but when we were back home and we had this desire that I want to travel. If you go anywhere and there's an Oyibo at the background, you are constantly trying to catch yourself.
I'm in a foreign land.
Right? And then by the time I've stayed in Canada now for about 6 years, and I'm like, this is Oyibo self. So there's no big deal to it.
Bro.
So that it ties. So when I say show off, so I'm not free out. I'm not also free. But over time, you come to realize that the things that you want to show off, it doesn't really matter. There's nothing there. So my advice is, you come in here, know your income, like Okiki said. If you cannot afford a brand new car, let's say maybe 2 families came to Canada at the same time. The other family is coming from deep pockets. They can afford a brand new car. Yeah, by all means buy. But you that cannot afford a brand new car, please go to Facebook Marketplace and buy the one your hand can reach. Right? With time passing and with proper planning, budgeting and everything, you can get that brand new car. And then there's nothing that is not unattainable as long as you plan towards it. So that's my view with all those kind of things. And then this also ties to people that have been here 5, 10, 6, how many years. There is nothing you cannot achieve, but plan towards it. Don't buy things on a whim. Don't say, because iPhone something is raining now. All of it. So most of the time, once they move from iPhone, what's the latest iPhone now?
17 Pro Max.
If they move from 17 Pro Max to 18, it's one feature that they change.
That's something.
And you're like, no, I must get it. So just be
If
Be
it's
content.
if it's not,
That's my
and everyone has to be like, just because the economy is not smiling, and it's not even in Canada alone, UK, US, even back home in our respective home countries, like things are, should I say, things are not so easy as it used to be. You work hard, you make money, but the money seems to be small compared to what your expenses are. So I think it's a time for everyone to go back to the drawing board and try to see, what am I doing wrongly. I'm not an expert when it comes to financial literacy or when it comes to financial talk, because I'm still, like, before we even started the show today, I was asking is there some questions, like, because for me too, I'm still trying to work on some unnecessary expenses that I need to, like, we might need to cut off as a family to have more savings. That it's a discussion in our family. So I just think it's a time for everyone to go back to the drawing board. But if you think you have excess, the economy is not affecting, we have people that the economy might not be affecting. There are people,
But in that kind of situation, the best advice would be to invest.
exactly.
if you have the extra, right?
By the time you have been able to manage your finances, like the number of people have been financially educated and they're able to maybe balance their lifestyle with their finances and everything, and you're able to put money aside. That is the next rule. The next target is investment. So let's talk about.
Sorry, before you go there, I would just like to add, there are some people whose life, whose source of income is show off. So like, there are some people whose source of income, like what brings them money, what brings food to their table is show off.
Like
people like in the social media people would like to celebrate. If they don't use that expensive car, like, how would you maybe call them for influencing or things like that? If they don't tell you that they are buying maybe expensive wig or expensive clothing, or they are traveling out of the country for vacation, a lot of them might not even be able to afford this thing, but it's just a way to pull people's attention to themselves, and that's what brings them money.
So again, everything should be done in moderation. Since we're talking about celebrities, I remember there was a celebrity that they were interviewing, and she said most of these clothes they wear to the red carpet, right? This is a Caucasian talking now. That most of these clothes they wear to the red carpet. If they are not clothes that you can wear on the everyday,
May you repeat,
right? Because I think she repeated what she wore some in one other occasion, and they were like, "Why are you repeating?" And I said, "I bought this. I bought it with my money." Right? You can restyle it and still wear it. It's the way you carry yourself. I don't see why, because you say you are a social media influencer, you have one particular car, you have three different colors. That's so everything should be in moderation, even if your
well, there's an expectation. That's why some of them want to live up to expectation. It depends on how much you are making. What is moderation to one?
Yeah,
you can't tell Tiger Woods live to moderation. His own standard of moderation is not your, everyday person level of moderation. All these soccer players and all that.
But that's why they get bankrupt, because there's this guy, MC Hammer. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah.
He was one time one of the wealthiest. But because of this same wanting to show off, he became bankrupt. So even if you are supposed to be in the eye of the media, apply sense, because all of these things is for a period. That's showing off. Like, let me use the footballer. As a footballer,
their career is always
for a period. So if you don't make smart investments,
exactly,
that time will pass, and that your show off that you spent all your money trying to show off, there'll be nothing left. So that's where my moderation conversation is coming from.
Okay, so there's every different levels of moderation.
Right.
Whatever your level is of position or whatever income, there's still a level of moderation. So not for show off. But I understand where he's coming from, because there are some people that they derive more income from
putting their life,
positioning themselves in, fake it till you make it kind of position of appearing rich, showing you have a car. But I feel that actually, after having lived in this part of the world for about 7 years now, I would almost say that applies more in African or Nigerian setting, where people want to show because if you don't have a brand new car, I don't think I'll go to any office and everybody's trying to spy what car did she bring before they can even offer me that contract or that job.
I disagree.
Now, in this part of the world,
for people that are you talking about celebrities now? Because for someone that is trying to get a biggie, like the example you made of, is someone that is also on the high class, not just a middle class person.
A celebrity, celebrity. At least you were at a level.
Yeah.
So you climbed up before you became a celebrity, right? And by the time you are even getting to that status of for celebrity status, the real celebrity, not just the fake social media acclaimed celebrity. So for me, I will actually say that people need to budget more, put money aside, and plan for their expenses, just like Izo has said about accommodation. We've all said it, food and everything. But like, is there a percentage one can advise? Okay, putting aside a certain percentage, because people also need to set money aside for savings.
Right. So again, it varies depending on your family dynamics. But when it comes to saving and investment, I usually advise that have an emergency fund, which is supposed to be 3 months accumulation of your present pay stub, whatever you earn. That should be something that you should have saved up somewhere.
Sorry, present pay stub or your monthly expenses, because your present pay stub might not be
Okay, I'm assuming that your monthly pay stub takes care of all your expenses. So let's put numbers into it. Let's say maybe as a family, husband and wife, the income that comes in monthly to the house is 7,000, right? And let's say maybe expenditure, everything included, is 6,500 because these days, by the time you're done spending, you just have very little left, right? So your emergency fund should be 6,500 times 3, kept somewhere, right? So that in case life happens, and maybe one person loses a job, you don't go right into debt, because the next option is credit card, lines of credit, and all that kind of thing. So that would be one easy way to budget. So it's not that you are going to save the money within a short period of time. So depending on your family dynamics, you can say, okay, right now between the two of us, if we reduce the number of times we eat out in a month, maybe that money now leaves from 500 to maybe 1,000. If we say, okay, we want to earmark for the next 6 months, 7 months, either put the money in the bank or do what we in Nigeria call a jaw, where you pull money to your contribution. Because one thing I like about that, it forces you to save, because you are good. So you can pull that money once it's your turn to take that lump sum. That's not the time for a Chanel bag to be entering your eye. You carry it and you put it in an investment, and you know that money is there. If it's in an investment, it will grow. So that if life happens, you have that. Right? And then you budget certain things. I just feel that life shouldn't, yes, there are sometimes you can say, oh, life is every day, and then indulge. But you shouldn't indulge every month.
Now, there was this viral video that I watched one day, and it's a Nigerian lady. And she made a point. She said, if you are in a foreign land, be you in Europe or in the US or in any of these Western world, and you're earning in hard currencies, even if it is in Middle East, because people in Saudi or, Dubai and co. If you don't have in Nigeria Naira, if you don't have up to 100 million saved in Nigerian Naira somewhere, then you are poor.
Are they robbing in the...
No, let me add to this.
Because I don't have, they should show me the way.
Let me add. I didn't complete the sentence.
Okay.
She actually said if you have lived in a foreign land for 10 years,
Right,
and you don't have up to...
I'm safe. Let me cross
If you
my
don't have up to 100 million, but the 100 million will not come up in one day, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you don't have like what you can convert, whether in pounds or euro or naira or dollars rather, and you can convert it into Nigerian currency, and it gives you a total of, I have this investment or savings as 100 million, then you are poor.
Is that not a shoe too big to fit into? Those are people, I think that's someone putting people under pressure. If it's also easy. Some people I even find people abroad, let me use that word, abroad, Canada, UK, whatever, are still finding it so hard and difficult to make a living for themselves where they are. But 100 million, can we convert that to Canadian dollars?
10,000.
10,000.
No. 100 million.
It's about 100.
currently.
Yeah, 100. I think it should be about $100,000. That's like
For
that's
10 years.
no. Okay. Oh, she said for 10 years. Okay.
For 10 years.
10 years.
She's not
Okay.
saying about newcomers
Yeah.
or 2-3 years.
Newcomers, please
But
don't go.
honestly, if you have lived abroad for that 10 years and you're not able to
You don't have assets. It might not be
have
physical
assets, it might
cash.
not be
Okay,
physical
my
cash.
question.
Let's plus your
Assets,
physical cash, plus your RRSP, RESP,
Okay.
all the TFSAs or stocks or whatever you have put together, or maybe your business assets. If you add them up together and want to liquidate them, if it's not up to, like, let me say the general, I'll say about 50 million naira or 80 million naira, then what have you been doing?
But no. But she said if you don't have it saved in naira.
No, she just
if
using
you
that
convert
analogy.
Oh, okay. I wanted to say your
I said
RIC.
the
Oh,
equivalent of it in naira, not like you're sending it
Send
because
it-
I'm
oh,
saying it
okay.
in naira. It's
Yeah, it
becomes
doesn't make any sense.
By the time you convert it back, sometimes it
Yeah.
might
No,
not.
I would
give you.
like the question you asked that what have they been doing? I would just want to leave it open. Life is so different for people. We have people who relocated and 2-3 years they've not even gotten a job. Not like entirely. Some are still struggling to even get a job that would foot their bill completely for a month. Some are still struggling. It's just like from maybe paycheck to paycheck just for them to survive.
So this is where
So in
I
that
kind of
situation-
differ, because almost everybody that came to this Western country, we came with our bags.
How?
I will explain what I mean. You left, some people sold their houses, cars, and everything. As you were coming off the airplane, you were coming with only bags. Right? Then we come here, most of us had to buy things from the beginning, even spoon, right?
Yeah.
But as life improves, people's appetites increase rather. Then you find out that, oh, I don't want to be going to thrift store anymore. I should be buying things here. And wait, and you are upping your standard of your is it quality of living or your
Level,
lifestyle,
yeah.
but you're not putting things as down for the rainy day. Now you'll be surprised. This if some okay, let me use this your analogy now. If that person has an asset, maybe a house on mortgage that have accrued some equity,
That's some.
and it maybe that equity is maybe 50,000 or whatever, and that person has a line of credit or credit card debt of 20,000, that person is not rich.
Yeah, because by the time you pay off all the
It's not rich. So my point is, people should be smart about these things. Yes, we all want to live that good life. We want to save, but try and make sure that you're looking at everything for the long haul. That's why I said get that 3 months emergency fund, so that you are not always, when life throws you a curveball, you are not having to go to debt.
I even feel the 3 months is even too small. 6 months
Yeah.
is safer. But Okiki, you had something to say.
Hey, I've seen situation where people come in, like I've met someone in this Saskatoon who has been here for way over 2 years, and the person has not, in fact, at the time to even, because I think this person I'm talking about had issues with his wife. They were struggling together as a, but it was still working out as a couple, but nothing like extra was actually, and when they went separate ways, it was the husband that was on the lower side. And the last I heard about was the man trying to even apply for accommodation support. He lost his job. That's where I got to know the person. Like the person lost his job. So it like
So he was working before.
what kind of work was he doing? I don't want to,
Maybe
because this
warehouse
is what
or
kind of like the kind of work he was even doing. It is not.
kind
It is not everyone that has a regular shift. Some do not even get up to
They are
40
not
hours.
casual
Yeah.
staff.
So like maybe in we are supposed to do 40 hours in a week. Someone that might not even be called to work. People are struggling. So in that
sorry.
situation,
Well-
when does that kind of person start counting? I got to Canada this year. Some people come and life is easy for them. Like few months they are supposed to be where, or they are close to where they are supposed to be. But some,
My own opinion is this.
so in that,
If you have lived in a Western world for, I don't want to use 2 years. 2 years is still
too early,
fair
yeah.
enough. You can still, faith can still smile on you. But if you've been in the Western world for 4 years, 5 years, and you're still struggling, you should go back home. That's what I think, because Western world is not heaven. So staying and struggling, you might have been better off going back
Back.
home and picking yourself up from somewhere, especially if you're still very young, even if you're old. I mean, but you can still, faith might still smile on you.
What about
Because if you keep staying here and waiting for people to have mercy on you, pity you for staying, it's like you're wasting your years and time is
Okay,
going.
so I don't know the full story of this person, so I don't want to be too critical. But I do know that if you come into, you said that some people do casual jobs, so it's not that they are like they are working 40 hours, right? What other spare capacity does this person have that he can use to generate money? Because the truth is, everybody has 24 hours, right? So the job is taking less than 40 hours. The other hours, what is he spending?
Of course, the person would not be sleeping in the other hours. But I'm just, you know, what brought about this discussion was about saving. Like, oh, when you live for certain years, you have this certain amount. Certain years for some people start counting the day they arrive because they are lucky, they are fortunate, they are blessed to have that job. That within the some people 3 years. Okay, for someone that came in through maybe education now, by the time you are okay, maybe school for maybe 3-4 years, can you even start saving at that time?
Cannot apply to somebody that came. So when she uses that, I think when you use that,
Well,
for somebody that came through PR, because you came
Okay,
and
is it
started-
PR? Because for someone
not
that
necessarily. I really don't know the context on that.
Okay,
It was just the video. I don't want to condemn what the lady has said. I see it more like
A
they
target.
try to make you a motivation for everybody to like, come, what have you been doing? You have to aim at towards this.
Yeah.
It's not like if you don't meet up with that or you don't have that amount, you are now, well, it was a bit harsh saying that the person is poor, but even if you don't,
something
you,
to-
because
it's a
they are
target to
in
look forward
real life, there's people that have stayed abroad for 10 years and they still don't, and they were working, they were doing relatively okay, comfortable, but because like Izo said, probably they lived too much flamboyant life. They went from credit card to credit card, wanting to furnish their house, change, impress people. They didn't realize time was going, and
going.
they before they knew it, 5 years, and then more expenses coming that they were not planning for, and then credit card people. So those are the kind of category of people I think that kind of information might be going for. Not those that are sincerely struggling and have not reached anywhere. They are
yeah,
still trying
like
to
in that
balance.
situation, when does their own first day, like the 10 years thing, when does it start counting? Someone that is even still struggling to get a job in 5-6 years that they've been in this abroad. So when does that year start counting? That, and in that situation that you said the person should go back home, will I now pack my load and go back? You will still be open. You can't go back now. There's children to look up to. We now say, oh, I'm going back. The fact that it doesn't work today doesn't mean tomorrow you might not get that opportunity.
So for how long will the person stay? I was talking about people that have stayed up to 4-5 years, and not maybe one partner is not working differently, but things are just not working. Things, you are even becoming literally like a beggar, almost declaring a bankruptcy, or you are living from hand to mouth. You can't even pay your rent at the by your 550 year. I'm not saying people that are doing minimum wage job. You can leave your minimum wage job, and that's your life to continue. Maybe somebody that but just talking about those that are genuinely struggling and there's no way out. That's just my own advice. Like, try and go home. Go back home.
What to go back home to do?
What are you doing here?
Home is okay.
What are you doing
But what?
here?
Let them. I would say everyone should do
Those
what.
5 years or what so many number of years that the person has not been able to bag a job. What other skill has the person added to himself or herself
Like going back to school.
to make the person's option, to increase the person's option? Because some people, and I'm not saying this about this guy, some people say, oh, unless I get this ideal job, what if that job never comes? So what other spare capacities do you have that you can groom and
Maybe and work, right?
work or something? Because it's tough here, like we said earlier on. There's no urgent 2K here. Nobody hands out anything here.
yeah.
Like in Nigeria now, things can get really tough, and then you have one person, you bend your neck, and the person will give you something. Those things don't apply here. So you eat what you kill in this country. So if you are not able to kill something big, become a better hunter.
Anyway, so moving on about financial settlement and financial awareness, and what do you advise about? Because we've talked about what people shouldn't do, how they shouldn't spend money, how they can manage frugal and things like that. Now, how do you improve your status? Even those that are let's say you're comfortable. Do you just live in that comfortable state? What is our advice, or what do we suggest? Anything regarding investment and savings? What are their options?
So for me, is have a plan. Uh, I work in a company where we can help you plan, give you a financial map of what you want to do, because we all have a retirement. Retirement is not an age; it's an income milestone. So we would help you plan that, but that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say this, that if you are living at a certain status, you know that old age is coming. There should be a plan between now and the next 20 years. How much will I need? When do I want to retire? You know, all those things will now make you sit down and realize that, okay, if I'm earning 5,000 today, regardless of all the expenses, I want to live my life, I want to cater to kids, I should be putting something on the side and investing, not just putting in a savings, so investing it so that compound interest will help you by the time you are retiring at 65. But some people are waiting until the big job comes. That's when I start saving. 100, somebody did an analysis once and said that, and they were using Starbucks and Tim Hortons. They said if you switch from, Canadians like to drink coffee. So they said if you switch from Starbucks to Tim Hortons, you will save I think $1 and a few cents. If you start investing that $1 at age 18, by the time you are 65, you would have such a huge amount of money. What that tells me is time is something that we need to use. Don't wait until the big job comes before you start putting something aside for investment. Right? And once you get into that culture of wanting to invest, it streamlines your expenditure. It's just like the Ajo thing I talked about. Because you know that you are going to pay this thing in 2 weeks, you are walking inside a fashion shop and you see one earring. You say, no, I don't want to be in trouble. It curtails a lot of
I have to
excesses.
remit some money to.
Yes, I have to remit some money. So if by the time you start investing and you have a set amount that you invest every month, it controls excesses. But if you are just living, anytime I have money, I'll keep. Anytime I have money, before you know, 10 years has passed, the person hasn't saved it.
So,
And meanwhile, the person is racking up credit card debts here. So that's
is
one.
that your opinion too?
Yeah, I agree.
That's one.
Yeah, so investing is very different. Actually, my own, in addition to what you have just said, I will add that even if you are not working, some people are making 6-figure jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, double six self. So,
Right.
they're like tens of thousands per annum, hundreds of thousands per annum, and in foreign currencies, which is fantastic. Some make 500,000. I don't know how they make it, but yeah, some people are really high up there. And let's say even the average person. Now we're talking about the average person who is trying to how do I make my life better? That's what this video is about. How do I increase my financial level and make sure that I'm not in debt, I'm not in owing people, and I keep improving so that in that 10 years I'm going to save the equivalent of whatever is 100 million naira. What I would advise is this: even if you are minimum wage job right now, as you have faith smiles on you and circumstances improve, if you cannot invest in the Canadian stock market, that is one of the big investment platform. If you can't invest in the maybe stock market and in the US Canadian stock market, the Nigerian stock market is doing appreciably well right now. I would advise that people can invest, because by the time you convert, say for example, $50 in naira to Canadian to naira, that's 50,000 naira in this current rate, about 1,005 or $1,010 naira to $1 Canadian dollar. That's 50,000 naira. With 50,000 naira, you can buy some shares in some companies back home in Nigeria, and then your money starts building. And before you know it, you've put in $100, put aside $100 in a month, let's say, for example, and you can do better than that. But let's even say at all, nine bad pass. So $50, $100 per month, and you put it into the Nigerian stock market currently. Before you know it, you've put in ₦1 million in this Nigerian stock market that you thought you could never even do. Probably when you were back home in Nigeria, you didn't even, what am I buying a million stock for? It's too expensive. But with this, being take advantage of the exchange rate and then investing in Nigeria stock exchange for now in good recommended companies. I don't have any company to recommend
going
right
to come
now.
to that.
Do your due diligence,
Exactly.
right? But it is doable and it is going well now. So that is an area to our advice, my fellow.
So if you are somebody that you are six-figure earner, you have two tasks to do. Either you enlist the services of a seasoned financial advisor, whether you want to invest in the Canadian stock market, the US, or Nigeria, wherever you want to invest. But make sure that you are working with somebody that is experienced and credible, because people have invested and lost their investments. That's one. And then if you want to do it by yourself, because some people do it by themselves, they use all this app. Do a lot of reading and research.
Educate yourself.
Educate yourself. Be fully aware. But one thing you must do is invest. Don't leave your money just lying in the bank, because the truth is the bank is investing your money. So invest and take advantage of compound interest and the time that you have to build wealth. So that will tie us to generational wealth. I think it's one of the things we said
Yes.
we will talk about, because let's not forget, most of us came here because we want to live a better life for our kids
And for ourselves.
So the only way we can do that is not just by giving them that citizenship, is to make sure that financially they are okay. Because like here, the schooling system in Canada, elementary is free, high school is free, but the university is expensive. Right? So if you are not able to save up enough money to send your kids to school, chances are that child will have to take a loan. So the child is starting life already in debt. So generational wealth is something that we are thinking of. So as you are investing, please plan for your children as well. That would be my add-on.
Okay, Kid, do you have any advice on that?
And since there's also I think a percentage that the government has to it, so why not just take opportunity of that and invest
The education savings account
savings
for your
account.
children.
Yeah. So like in Canada, I don't know if it's in the US, but in Canada, as long as you have kids of a certain age, the government will pay you a stipend monthly for those kids. And then if you are within a certain pay grade too, because I know
Because income bracket.
income, they don't, but whilst that money is coming in, don't just use it. Keep some aside. I feel that most of the time, what happens to immigrants, and it happens to everybody, it happened to me. You come into the country, you are living at a certain level, God blesses you, you go to a higher level, and then your taste increases.
Yes.
But no, there's nothing bad
about it.
There's
But
As your
sometimes
taste
it goes,
is
it matches the
increasing,
salary without extra.
Exactly.
Without leaving an extra.
But she
on your
said as your level,
level,
that means
your
your
taste
wait,
is
maybe you started low income and you become medium, you become six figure, then that's
No,
what she
it's
said
good.
now.
As it's
Or do you
going
mean
No,
the
no,
income
no,
being stable?
No, I'm saying that as your income is increasing and your taste is increasing, don't swallow all the
Yeah, now that income is
some.
increasing, definitely
don't
taste
follow-
my
some. You understand? Because you would need it. The years we spend without working is actually a huge chunk. Let's assume now that we all retire at 65. And life expectancy in this place is long. There are people that are 90 and still alive.
and
So that means for the next 30 years of your life, unless you have investment, no money is coming. So think about it.
like how do I survive?
So you are living that
go back
soft
to your
life
country.
now. Hard life is coming. If you don't save and invest.
Yeah, so that's the thing. And that's it. So to wrap this up, guys, I hope you've enjoyed our conversation. There's so much to learn from this. This is about for you or us to develop our financial stability, to be able to stand even when you are in any country where you are in. And this conversation even also applies to even those that are still back home in their original home countries. It doesn't matter wherever you are. Investment is universal.
Yeah.
Invest money and be wise, be smart, and be financially educated. She has said it. Also, you can always reach out to any financial advisor. We are all financial. Well, she's a financial advisor, and you can reach out to any of us to get more information, and we'll link you up with experts that will guide you if you need more financial advice on this matter. If you've been watching till this time, don't forget to subscribe, Thank you to our old subscribers, and we're welcoming our new subscribers. Please hit that button. Thank you and have a good day.
Open Table TV, come and